Alright, what we got here is a 4-player Demolition Derby. Having a little bit of a slight issue with it. Everything in this game has been replaced at this point, or swapped out I should say, from my spare part collection. Trying to resolve the issue. You know, the main board, the transformer assembly has been replaced, all the steering boards here, all the connectors have been replaced, so I'm pretty sure that, you know, it's not anything that has failed in this, but not 100% sure. So I'm going to try and explain and show the issue that I'm having, and maybe if somebody else has the machine, they could try this and see how their machine reacts the same way. So let me show you exactly what's going on here. The game's in a track mode right now. What I'm going to do is go into the test mode here, and we gotta do the tilt on the game. Okay, on the screen here, I'm going to go into the player input. Okay, player input. What happens here is all the steering wheels respond as normal in this mode. What I always do is I set all the values here. This is what I'm hoping somebody else can check. Is I set all the values so that they are on 0. Sometimes when you turn the game on for the first time, they'll be like this anyway. So as you can see, steering wheels 1 through 4 on 0. Now what I'm going to do is just start hitting the start switch on there. Okay, and it's just showing player 1 start button. Player 2 start button is right there as well. You know, player 3 works fine, and player 4. So all the buttons work fine. And you can see the screen, I'm hitting it and it flickers. Now what the issue is I'm going to turn player 1's wheel to about 10. And the wiring between player 1 and 3 is shared, and the wiring between 2 and 4 is shared. When I'm in this test mode and I change the value of one wheel that is different, now when I start pushing the start button, hopefully you can see that. I know the monitor, you always get the wave with the video camera, but you can see that player 3 is jumping to 10. You can see the value there, almost as if it's like a hardware glitch, like it's getting the data line crossed into player 3. And it does the same thing when you go on player 2. You'll see player 2, you'll see that info go on player 4 as well. Hopefully you can see that, but it is flickering. 6 is maybe not a good number to be on. Get a double-digit number. There you go. You can see that it's doing it. But again, if you put them all to 0, none of that will happen. Okay, then you're like, okay, probably no big deal. This is not an issue. Okay, they're all at 0, and what I'm going to do now is try to keep them at 0. I see that just flipped over, but we'll keep them at 0. And I'm going to exit out of the test mode without touching any of the wheels or anything. So now we're in the game mode, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up a game here. And let's get players 3 and 4 on here. And I may have bumped the wheel. Hopefully I didn't. Okay. I don't know if I bumped the wheel or not. Okay, now I'm not using any of the steering wheels here, and I'm just moving players 3 and 4, just going forward, backwards, forwards, backwards. No issues, okay? They're just going forward and backwards, no steering, and they're fine. They work fine, okay? And remember that we left the values of the wheels all the same, okay? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spin this wheel, and I'm going to spin this wheel, and this one, and that one. Okay, and then you're going to notice that now the cars, because the wheels are different, I'm not touching the wheels, and the wheels aren't spinning. You can see the blue car's drifting. It's kind of moving just by itself. The red car's drifting. It really doesn't matter. And if you were to only spin one of the wheels, depending on which car it was, you know, like I said before, 1 and 3 are linked together, so there you go. You can see they're both like drifting ever so slightly. And that's only because the values are not the same. If I had left them all on 0, this issue wouldn't happen. So I was hoping if somebody else has this game, they could look into it. Again, it's not a big deal because when you're playing the game, you're usually spinning the wheels. You're not just going with the shifters and whatnot. But something small, you know, it's kind of bugging me. If I could find out that this is just, you know, a problem with my machine, or you know, this is just a you know, how the game normally operates, you know, really just a curiosity thing at this point. I have one other guy who says his game does the same thing, so just trying to get a little more input on it. Thank you.